Hello everyone, my name is Nighthawk. Welcome to Explain 11. I finally decided to do it. We're gonna be doing our first Explain 11 video. I've decided to introduce Explain 11 to the channel, and it'll be part of a new series on this channel, so hopefully you guys will enjoy this. Today we're gonna be flying a Boeing 737-900 from Blue Square Airlines, and I'm gonna give a bit of a background on the airline. It's a virtual airline. From the creators of Booty Squad Gaming. So this is a virtual airline, still fairly new, but if you want to join us, I will link to the virtual airline Discord down below. So once again, we're flying a 737-900 from Phoenix. We're gonna have a 1 hour and 30 flight to San Diego. I believe it's gonna be about 5 in the morning right now, so we're gonna go ahead and hop in the cockpit. So right now it's roughly about 1, 2, 3.
No, 2798, Roger.
I believe the local time is about, yeah, it's about 3:30 in the morning. Right now in Phoenix, we're currently sitting at the gate Alpha 24. This is where the American Airlines aircraft park apparently, so we're just out here stealing their gate. But yeah, Blue Square Airlines, fairly new airline, virtual airline. If you want to join, I'll link to the Discord of the virtual airline down below if you want to join us. There is an application form, I believe, and I'll also link to the website, the virtual airline website as well. So we're just about done with the cockpit preparation here. We're about to push back in about, I'd say, 15 minutes. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull this up. I use X checklist to make sure my flows are consistent. So departure, arrival, SID, route points, and airways. So we're going to be taking the Firebird 1 departure, runway 8, transition to Mohawk, and then I believe it's going to take us through, hold on, leave route is here, so it's going to be Firebird 1 and then Mohawk, and then the J2 airway with the Hogs transition, terminates at Hogs, and then we're going to take the Lucky 1 arrival down to Lindy, and we're going to take the Lindy transition that will transition us over to the RNAV 27 approach for runway 27 at San Diego. So San Diego approach, nothing more interesting than flying above that parking lot that was just flying above the parking lot that's just a few inches from the threshold of the runway, or not a few inches, rather a few, well, I don't know how far it is, probably half a kilometer or so. I have no goddamn clue, but yeah, we're gonna see that parking lot on approach. So here's hoping the winds don't change. I'm not sure, I guess it never does, but how would I know? So there you go, departure, arrival, SID is checked, route points and airways checked. Our top of descent, I'm gonna have to verify that with my flight plan. Oh, sorry.
Delta 683, cleared near the bank to Luck.
So we're gonna make sure our top of descent matches up with our flight plan here. So we're gonna go over and check that out. So top of descent is between Cibola and Karma. So I'm gonna go ahead and check on that real quick. Alright, so we verified the top of descent matches up with our flight plan, so we're gonna go ahead and get out of that menu. We're gonna set this to I'd say 5 or 10. I think 10 would be good enough on the range. Ground distance, we're gonna compare it to our flight plan. Ground distance is approximately 292 nautical miles. Let's see if this matches up with our flight plan. And indeed it does. So 292 nautical miles ground distance has been verified. Landing fuel, we're gonna have about 7,900 pounds upon landing, so we have enough fuel. Route has been executed. Instruments have been cross-checked. Flight directors, clock, QNH, and all that stuff. Emergency briefing, whatever the fuck happens, happens. So that's our emergency briefing. Taxi briefing, we're gonna be taxiing to runway 8. We're gonna push back tail, let me check the map here. Pushing back tail south, tail towards the south, then we're gonna turn right immediately once we get out of this terminal. Make a right turn once we reach the first taxiway, so Expect taxiing route has been checked. And departure briefing. Runway is going to be runway 8. It's supposed to be runway 26, but the winds have changed, so it's now going to be runway 8. And departure is going to be LNAV and VNAV armed. We're going to be having LNAV and VNAV enabled by the time, or rather have it armed upon departure, or before departure. And then climb altitude, we're going to be getting our initial altitude from Phoenix clearance delivery, so you're going to get to hear that. I'm using pilot to ATC for my ATC program. And our cruising altitude is going to be 32,000 feet, and sit points have been verified and checked. So we're going to go ahead and pull out the glare shield. Passengers are almost done with boarding, so we're going to close the doors here in a minute. So before start, IRS mode selectors are set to nav. There we go. IRS set to nav. Gear pins are going to be removed, and chocks as well. Light test, we already did that. Oxygen has been tested. Yaw damper is on. Nav transfer and display switches normal and auto. Fuel 12.3 required, or rather 11.9 required, 12.3 on board. Fuel pumps are on except for the center fuel pump. Cab util IFE switches are on. Emergency exit lights are armed. Fasten seatbelt signs are on. Window heat is on. Air conditioner and press packs are on. Bleeds are set. Pressurization mode, select that to auto. We don't want to end up like Helios. Instruments have been cross-checked. Auto brake is at RTO. Hydraulics are normal. Speed brake is down, D10. Parking brake is set. Stab trim cutout switches are normal. And wheel well fire warning has been checked, and radar transponder is on standby. Rudder and aileron trims are free and 0. Okay. Alright, we're gonna tell our passengers welcome aboard Blue Square flight 246 non-stop service from Phoenix to San Diego. And we're gonna get ready to close the doors here in a minute.
Southwest 1307, LaGuardia, Romeo. Departure from the gate. Maintenance wrapping up one final item that they needed to take care of. Yeah, we tried to TPDLC a few times. Should be just a few more minutes. Maintenance wrap up.
Alright, we just made our announcement, so we're going to continue off the checklist here. And you have an edict of so forward and entry doors will be closed. Flight attendants have told us all passengers are on board, so we're going to start closing the doors. All cargo has been loaded as well. So we're going to close that as well, make sure all the doors are closed. And we're going to get rid of the ground handling. So we're going to get rid of all that. Alright, forward and aft doors closed. We're going to start the A cars here. Our virtual airline makes use of that. Alright, we started our A cars. Our APU has been APU is running already. So we're gonna go ahead and do our final FMC additions here. So zero fuel weight has been adjusted. Oh, sorry. There we go. Zero fuel weight is adjusted according to the load sheet. Gross weight is within the flight plan range. And this performance initialization has been executed. APU bleed is on. Turn on the APU generators here. We're going to go ahead and disconnect the GPU.
Okay, very good. We'll be calling for a push here in about...
There we go. GPU has been disconnected. Now we're going to go over to our takeoff performance. So we're going to type in our outside ambient temperature, or outside air temperature. We're going to go with 22 kd rate. We're going to want to climb a bit fast. I want to get to our cruising altitude as fast as we can. I don't want to have to make an off-schedule descent since we're climbing too slowly. So I'm going to go to the takeoff here. Flaps, we're going to have a flaps 5 departure. Put the center of gravity. There's our trim. V1, rotate, and V2 speeds. So there we go. They've been verified. Speed bugs. We're going to put 153 on the... Whoops, 153 on the speed bug right there.
SL 6027, read back correct, say ramp number.
There we go, 153. Then we're going to set our trim to 5.20 units. So 5.20, there we go. Noise abatement departure, we don't need that. Glare shield, we'll continue off with the normal checklist where we left off, so final items.
Affirmative. I have a full route clearance going to Tampa. Advise
PA announcement complete, FMC is set, N1 and AAS bugs are auto and set, stab trim is set 5.20, EFB airplane mode, phones are off, cockpit doors closed shortly once we've turned on the beacon light, passengers will be seated shortly, and all doors are closed. So there you go.
Alright, we're going out on the...
Let's go ahead and contact the Phoenix clearance delivery for our IFR clearance.
Blue Square 246 ready to copy IFR clearance.
Blue Square 246 is cleared to Kilo Sierra Alpha November. Climb via the FYRBD1 departure, with the Mohawk transition, then as filed. Expect departure runway 08. Climb to 14,000 feet via the departure. Expect higher clearances 8 minutes after departure. Departure on 119.2 Squawk 4356.
Blue Square 246 is cleared to Kilo Sierra Alpha November. Climb via the FYRBD1 departure, with the Mohawk transition, then as filed. Climb to 14,000 feet via the departure. Expect higher clearances 8 minutes after departure. Departure on 119.2 Squawk 4356.
Blue Square 246 rear back correct. Altimeter 2978 contact ground on 119.75 when ready for pushback. Have a nice day.
Altimeter 2978 ground on 119.75 Blue Square 246.
Alright, there we go. We got our initial altitude and assigned runway, SID, and squawk code. So I believe it was 4,000 feet. So we're gonna put 4,000 feet on the altitude. Expect higher clearances 8 minutes after departure. And squawk 4356. So we're gonna put 4356 down here. 4356. And we're gonna set that to alt off. Alright, anti-collision light's gonna be on. Passenger should be seated. Cockpit doors will be closed.
Flight attendants prepare for departure. Cross check and all call. Thank you.
ground, Delta 1817, 1 north with uniform.
Delta 1817 on ground, taxi via Foxtrot to 26 left.
Foxtrot 6 left, thank you, Delta 1817.
Alright, cockpit door is gonna be closed. We're gonna go ahead and ask for pushback, and I'm gonna go ahead and call them up.
Ground to cockpit, plan acknowledged. Call me through the menu when you are ready.
Alright, we've pre-planned our pushback. I'm just gonna do one final check here, make sure everything's good to go. Double check our weather here for a minute. Okay, we're gonna turn off the packs here for our engine start. We're gonna pull out the before start below the line. Oh, didn't need to pull that out. Okay, air condition packs are off, anti-collision light is on. Parking brake is set, transponder is set to alt off. Before start is complete. So we're gonna go ahead and contact ATC ground for pushback assistance.
Blue Square 246 ready for pushback and engine start.
Blue Square 246 pushback and engine start approved.
Pushback and engine start approved. Blue Square 246.
Alright, we got our pushback clearance. We're gonna go ahead and get our pushback started.
Ground to cockpit, tail is driving up.
Tower 12532.
2532, Delta 1817.
And while we're pushing back, we're gonna go ahead and have a peek at what's going on in the cabin.
Many airlines that can take you there.
So we thank you.
For making the journey with us.
Thank you.
And now we'd like you to pay attention to the following safety video.
First, please fasten your seatbelt. To fasten your seatbelt, insert the metal fitting into the buckle and pull on the loose end of the strap to tighten. To open, lift
Delta
up on the buckle.
2115, pass behind Frontier at Foxtrot.
Behind
Frontier at Foxtrot, Delta 2115.
As we prepare for takeoff, please be sure your seat back.
Alright, pushback tug is getting into position
Okay,
here.
all doors and hatches are closed. Ready to connect. Tow connected and bypass pin inserted. Release parking brake.
Alright, releasing parking brake. Jetway is moving
Starting
back.
pushback. And you may start engines.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. We're gonna check if the right side is clear. We're gonna wait until we're back a safe distance until we get our engine started here. Alright, I believe right side is clear. Right side clear. Let's start up number 2. And before I forget, let's turn off the dome light because it's awfully bright. And we have N2. Wait for it to get to 25% before we give it some fuel. Okay, 25%. Let's introduce some fuel.
Red bus 3 whiskey with Sierra. Air Canada 1040 ground, runway 34 left, taxi via Foxtrot Whiskey Alpha.
There we go.
Foxtrot Whiskey Alpha, 34 left.
Make sure it doesn't go above 500 here.
Operation complete. Go ahead and set the parking brake.
Setting the parking brake. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Shit. There we go.
Disconnecting tow. Stand by.
Alright, we're stable on 2. Left side is clear. Alright, starting 1. Alright, 25%. Let's introduce some fuel.
Canada 1040.
Let's move over to the next checklist.
Tow is disconnected and bypass bin has been removed. Hand signal on the right. We'll see you next time and have a safe flight.
Thank you, ma'am. Alright, engine generators on. APU switch is off. Engine start switches are set to continuous. Probe heat is on. And left and right air conditioning packs are set to auto. Isolation valve set to auto, and APU bleed will be coming off. And there's the bypass pin. She has shown it to us, and we're good to go. Alright, takeoff flaps. We're gonna set it to 5. And we're gonna go over to the system page here, do a flight control check. So full elevators forward, and then fall backward. And then left and right. Alright, rudder left and rudder right. Alright, recall, and we'll switch it off.
The 1190, your sequence is the Alaska Boeing.
There we go.
37 to monitor tower.
So before taxi checklist, I'm gonna turn on this light so I can see this. For taxi, generators are on, APU is off, start switches are set to continuous, anti-ice is off, air conditioning packs are set to auto, bleeds are on, isolation valve is set to auto, flaps 5, required 5 selected, green light, stab trim 5.20 required, 5.20 set, start lever, idle detent, flight controls have been checked and recall has been checked. Alright, let's ask ATC for taxi clearance.
Blue Square 246 ready to taxi.
Blue Square 246 taxi to runway 08 via taxiways Tango, Bravo, Bravo 1, hold short runway 08.
Taxi to runway 08 via taxiways Tango, Bravo, Bravo 1, hold short runway 08 Blue Square 246.
Alright, we've made contact with ATC. Taxi light is on. Left and right turn off lights are on. Parking brake release. We're gonna test the takeoff config real quick. And no takeoff horn. So we're good on the takeoff config. We're gonna set the cabin lighting to take off. And the entry area to medium. We want dim light as possible, or the darkest possible lighting. We're gonna get the flight attendant seated. And we're on our way to runway 8. Alright, we're gonna make a left here on Bravo. I believe this is taxiway Bravo here. Or this is probably Charlie. I believe we need to make another right turn to get onto Bravo here. Alright, so now we're on taxiway Bravo. Making a left turn onto Bravo. It's gonna be a long taxi to runway 8. It's Bravo pretty much all the way until Bravo 1. So while we're on the long taxi, let's make sure everything in the cockpit is set up. Just one go through of everything, make sure everything is set up.
Ground up 3845 north, ready taxi information here.
Everything looks good so far. Yeah, everything looks good so far.
351, ground joint Foxtrot to ramp 5, they'll take you through for 6.
Foxtrot.
Alright, we're approaching Bravo 1. It's gonna be at the displaced Jesus, can't talk. Displaced portion of the threshold here, or the runway. So yeah, we're taxiing all the way back to runway 1. Or Bravo 1. We're gonna start at the very beginning of the runway here for our takeoff roll. We're gonna slow our taxi speed to 50 knots here before making the turn. We don't want to flip our Boeing 737 like an SUV. So we're going to slow it down a bit.
246 contact tower on 118.7. Have a good night.
Tower on 118.7 Blue Square 246.
Right, turn right on Foxtrot, ramp 3, join Echo.
Okay, we're tuning into tower. Co-pilot's doing the communications. We're going to hold short here.
So 212, contact right.
We're going to make a stop here just to check everything. We're not in a rush or anything. We still got time. And it's in the middle of the early morning here, so we're not expecting any heavy traffic. So let's ask ATC for takeoff clearance.
Tower Blue Square 246 ready for departure runway 08. Blue Square 246 winds are 078 at 6 knots, altimeter 2979 cleared for takeoff, runway 08.
Alright.
Cleared for takeoff, runway 08 Blue Square 246.
Flight attendants, please prepare the cabin for departure.
Flight attendants, please be seated for departure.
Landing lights are on.
66 tower, runway 28, line up away.
Auto throttle on, arm L nav and V nav. Turn on the weather radar.
Have a good flight.
Thank you. You have a safe flight as well. And we're gonna set our transponder to TARA. Check the yoke. Configuration is checked. Flaps green light. Stab trim 5.20 set. Takeoff briefing has been reviewed. Cabin is secure. MCP is set. Transponder is TARA. Strobe lights are on. And landing lights are on. Alright. We're gonna move that yellow knob down just a bit. We're gonna start the timer on the clock, and we're gonna stabilize our thrust at 40% N1. Then we're gonna activate turbo. Alright, so 40% N1. And stabilized at 40% N1. Where's the toga button? God damn it. There's the toga button. And toga, here we go.
We're ready, American 17-7.
American 1717, 310 at 11, runway 28, clear for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff, 28, American
80 knots. 80 knots, cross check.
Southwest 1166, contact
Ooh.
departure solo.
Better track it on the center line here.
1166, yeah.
E1.
Alright, pulling up. Ooh, come on. Buzzer rate, gear up, please.
American 1717, contact departure, take care.
American 17-7.
Alright, hand fly it for a bit.
400.
400, okay. We're gonna hand fly this departure for a bit, probably up to 5,000 or 10,000.
Tower southwest 1608 visual.
Let me adjust the trim here, it's a bit, wants to go nose down a bit. We're gonna follow the pink line.
Clear to land. Clear to land, 325 south 1608.
Alright, flaps 2 please.
1608, turn right at Foxtrot, join Papa, then contact ground.
Look at that. Phoenix is shining bright out there. Alright, flaps 1. Okay. Nice departure out of Phoenix so far.
147 tower, wind 300 at 12, runway 33 left, clear to land.
Alright, flaps up. Okay, we're climbing to 14,000. We should be expecting
contact Phoenix departure
higher
on
altitude.
119.2.
And
Good
we're
day.
now being handed off to Phoenix departure.
On 119.2 Blue Square 246.
What's 590 tower, runway.
Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and turn on the autopilot because I'm getting tired. My hands are getting tired. Okay, there we go.
Departure Blue Square 246 climbing
Okay,
to
landing gear
14,000
is
feet.
off. Alright, auto brakes are off. Engine start switches are set to auto. We're not expecting any moisture. And temperature's warm. Cabin pressure and differential are within limits. Pressurization selector auto, all of that's good to go. APU bleed off, engine bleed is on. Left and right air conditioning is set to auto, isolation valve is auto. Left and right duct pressure is working. And we are on departure. Okay, after takeoff checklist, air conditioner and pressurization is set. Engine start switches are set to normal. Landing gear is up and off. Auto brakes are off. Flaps are up and no lights, and altimeters are set. After takeoff, checklist complete. We're gonna go ahead and release the cabin crew here. And yeah, we're gonna be climbing out of this departure.
Approach 12797. 2797, one goes up. So 1584, connect departure 12432. 432.
Alright, we're closing in at 10,000. We're gonna be turning off the landing lights soon.
Aircraft 772 departure with a contact. Climb and maintain flight level 190. Flight level 190, your car 772.
Alright, 10,000. Landing lights are coming off. It's kind of hard to see the overhead. When we turn off lights, taxi lights are off. We're going to turn off the logo light as well. And cabin pressure differential looks good. Copilot is checking the rest of that. Fasten seatbelt signs. We can go ahead and switch that to auto. Recall is checked. Heading bug, we're going to adjust that to our present heading, or the heading we're about to go to, so which is about 250. So we're gonna set that to 250. There we go. So we're up at 11,000. You can switch this to a different lighting setup. Yeah, there we go. Alright, ATC has just cleared us to climb higher to flight level 220. We've set our altimeters to standard on both the standby altimeter and the normal altimeter, and on the first officer side as well. Beautiful night in Phoenix. So we're going to be on our way to San Diego. We're going to be climbing up to flight level 320. And we're going to chill here for cruise until we reach, we're about a couple nautical miles from our top of descent. Alright, Albuquerque Center has just cleared us to flight level 320, so I'll give you a quick update once we get to our the top of climb. Alright, we're nearing our cruising altitude. We're at 31,000. We're gonna make our cruise announcement here to the passengers shortly. But we do have the seatbelt sign off already. I do want to keep seatbelt signs off at 10,000 feet. Some other airlines prefer to have the seatbelt sign off at 32,000, or the cruising altitude rather. I prefer to turn it off at 10,000 feet. But there are times I keep the seatbelt sign on throughout the entire flight just because the turbulence is so bad. So there we go. We're about to level up at 32,000. We're gonna keep the cabin lighting at sleep levels, and we're gonna tell passengers that we have leveled off.
So cruising altitude now should be a relatively smooth flight. Seatbelt sign is off. Please only move around the cabin when that sign is off, and anytime you receive that, you request your seatbelt fastened about you regardless of the seatbelt sign. Moving up cabin a little closer. Meanwhile, please sit back, relax, enjoy the trip with us.
Alright, we're gonna hang out here for cruise, and I'll see you once we're about a couple nautical miles from our top of descent and getting ready to descend. Alright, we're approaching our top of descent here. We're about, let's see.
124.35,
Yeah, we're about 122, or rather, no, sorry. We're about 70 nautical miles from our top of descent. So I'm just gonna go over here and initiate the descent about approximately 2.5 nautical miles before the actual top descent to ensure that we're on the descent profile that the FMC has prepared. I've already prepared the descent forecast details, wind data. QNH at San Diego is 29093. Lindbergh weather is showing right now winds of about 310 with 5 knots. Visibility is down a bit by 9 statute miles. Few clouds at 1000, temperature of 18 degrees Celsius, and temperature 29093. So overall, not a bad day at Lindbergh. I guess you can call them typical weather conditions.
Good evening.
Alright, 5 more nautical miles until the top descent. I'm gonna initiate the descent here via the FMC. Once that top descent passes 2.5 nautical miles. And we should begin our top descent. Alright, 2.5, initiating descent. Alright, now we're beginning our descent. I've set our altitude to the initial approach fix, which is, I believe, Linda? Is that the name? Yeah, or no, Lindy, sorry. Initial approach fix is at Lindy, so I've set it to 5,000, so we're gonna be descending all the way to the initial approach fix. And looks like we're following the descent profile quite nicely. Our navigation performance is looking good at about 0.03, 0.04 nautical miles. Hopefully that doesn't drift upwards. So yeah, we're gonna be beginning our descent.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again from the flight deck here, we're on our descent. Seatbelt signs going to be back up for our rattle. If you're up and about, please return your seats, fasten your seatbelts. Still showing well ahead of schedule. Thanks again. Hope you have a nice week. Have you on here very shortly.
Alright, so we're descending at about 2,700 feet per minute. We're gonna be following up the star profile here. Just gonna take a look at the ND here. Heading bug, we're gonna keep adjusting that to 250. Is that 250? Yeah, it's 250. So far, nice descent so far. We're gonna set our bank to 25 since we're below 20 or 30,000. Alright, looks like we're coming up on an altitude constraint here of about flight level 240 here. So we might be holding 240 for a bit. We're gonna go ahead and set our minimums for the RNAV arrival to runway 27. Looks like it's gonna be minimums at Lindbergh are gonna be 680. So I'm gonna go ahead and set that right here. We're gonna turn that to 680.
Center, Alicia, 902. Sending the Lucky 1 accept
There we go. Minimum set to 680. That's our MDA for the RNAV approach. Alright, we're coming up on flight level 230 now. Now we're going to be flying a heading of 254 along this star. We're not expecting any traffic at Lindbergh, so we should be number one for the approach and landing without any issues, and looks like we're hitting a patch of turbulence already. Alright, we just passed the city of Mexicali. We're now about to pass by the mountain ranges here that pretty much border California, I believe. So we should be seeing San Diego here shortly. Alright, we're descending below 18,000 feet now, so I'm gonna go ahead and set the QNH to, what is that? Weather at San Diego is showing 29093, so we're gonna set it to 29093 on that, and we're gonna set it to 29093 on the standby as well. So approach checklist on the yoke, it's gonna be all good to go. And we're gonna be passing 10,000 feet here shortly. Alright, we're coming up on 10,000. We're gonna have the landing lights on, runway turn-offs on, taxi lights on, turn on the logo light, and we're gonna turn on the wing light for visibility. And we're gonna turn on the fasten seatbelt sign. There we go, fasten seatbelt sign is on. There we go. Okay, FMC's bitching about drag, so we're gonna go ahead and give it the drag it wants. Now we're being handed over to SoCal approach.
On 128.1 Blue Square 246.
We need to give this aircraft some drag to slow it down. We don't want to overspeed, have too much speed on arrival. Alright, we're almost at Lindy. Just have to pass through Jeeves and then Lucky, and then it's going to be on to Lindy, which is our initial approach fix. So hopefully this will be a good landing. It's going to be an RNAV approach over some buildings that sit near the end of the runway, so it's going to be interesting. Okay, FMC is asking for drag again.
Blue
Jesus
Square
Christ.
246 altimeter 29993 at San Diego International cleared for the RNAV approach to runway
Right,
27
I believe we're
at San
cleared for the
Diego
approach.
International with the Lindy transition. Altimeter 29993 cleared for the RNAV approach to runway 27 with the Lindy transition. Blue Square 246.
Flight attendants, please prepare the cabin for landing.
Alright, we're gonna go ahead and throw in flaps 1. We're closing in on Lindbergh. We're gonna go ahead and seat the cabin crew. Alright, let's go ahead and give it some flaps too. Let's slow her down. That's San Diego, boys.
1234 departure radar contact, climb HA 10,000, turn right 020. Climb at 10,000, right turn 020.
Alright, we're approaching Lindy here.
Blue Square 246 altimeter 29993 at San Diego International contact tower on 118.3.
Alright, we're being handed over to tower flaps 5.
Altimeter 29993 tower on 118.3 Blue Square 246. Tower Blue Square 246 inbound for RNAV approach runway 27.
Blue Square 246, good morning. Radar contact. Continue RNAV to runway 27, call when established on final.
Continue RNAV to runway 27 will call when established on final. Blue Square 246.
Alright, we're turning towards the runway here. Runway is in sight.
with your visual
We're gonna notify ATC once we are established on the approach.
Thank you.
Oh shit, some clouds just settled in.
One left line up on White South 8892.
Alright, let's go ahead and arm the speed brakes. There we go, speed brake is armed. Gonna set the engine start switches to continuous. Wow, we got some low-lying clouds at 1,000 feet, just like the weather report said. We should be making our way down to the intercept of Sidji. And then, yeah, Sidji. And we should be on approach. We're gonna go ahead and tell Tower we are establishing the RNAV approach. They will clear us to land usually at 500 feet. I don't know why, but that's a thing in this program.
Blue Square 246 established on final for RNAV approach runway 27.
Alright, landing gear down. Give it flaps 15.
Departure will see Delta 8892.
Alright, recall is checked. Speed brake is armed. Landing flaps. Let's throw down. Let's get it down to 40.
Cross one left at Golf, push it up one right at Golf, American 17.
Gonna manage the speed here. There we go. There we go. Alright, gears down. Auto brakes are set to 2. Spoilers are armed. Let's see, start switches are set to continuous. Recall has been checked. And speed brakes have been armed, all that stuff. Landing checklist complete. I do have the runway in sight. I'm gonna go ahead and disengage the autopilot here. Alright, autopilot has been disengaged. We're gonna be making arrival runway 27 here, following the RNAV descent profile here. Let's keep her steady, make sure we don't crash into buildings here. There's a bit of a hill at the end of runway 27, so we're gonna go ahead and watch out for that and make sure we keep on our descent profile and not sink below our RNAV descent profile.
Feet stabilized, Mr. Birch, altitude set.
We are stabilized. I'm gonna go ahead and turn off the auto throttle here. Look at that. Buildings and roads coming up very close to us. Quite terrifying. So tower is gonna clear us to land at 500 feet, which is usual.
246 winds are light and variable, cleared to land runway 27.
And we are clear to land, the last minute.
Clear to land runway 27 Blue Square 246.
Continue. We've reached minimums.
Tower Mike 1175, about 11 out for 285.
Jesus Christ. Buildings right below us.
28 right, cleared line, right,
300.
Alright, let's push it. We've cleared the hill. Now we're a bit high. Need to push the descent a bit.
2.
200.
Left turn Delta, hold short, 20 left, at 12:10.
100.
There we go, there we go.
50. 40. 30.
Alright, idle. Come on, touch the ground, touch the ground.
10.
Come on, touch the ground, boy. Touch the ground. There we go. Acceptable landing, negative 284 feet per minute. Reverse is out, and we have deceleration. Holy shit, we are off the center line. That wasn't exactly a good landing. 80 knots. Holy shit, we are approaching the end of the runway here. And idle. Reverse thrust closed. Oh boy, we are at the threshold, displaced threshold there of the end of the runway. We're gonna have to hit the brakes hard here and make a turn. That wasn't exactly a good landing, but nonetheless we made it. But we probably nearly ran off the end of the runway there.
Tower, Canada 753.
Alright, speed brake is retracted. Auto brakes are off. And flaps are up. Let's tell the tower we are clear of the runway.
Clear of active Blue Square 246.
With the radars coming off and terrain radars coming off on the other side.
246, welcome to San Diego International. Contact ground on 123.
Landing lights off.
Enjoy your night.
And wing
Ground
lights
on
are off.
123.9 Blue Square 246.
And strobe lights are off. That was not a good landing. That was probably not even a soft landing if I had to count on it. Okay, transponder is still alt off, and ATC has been notified that we vacated the runway. So we're gonna go ahead and ask ATC for a gate. Alright, we're coming up on a gate 38 down this terminal here. No idea what terminal this is. Gate 38 is somewhere here. Believe this is Southwest Territory right here. Alright, here we are, gate 38. Empty and ready to use.
Ground JetBlue, 626, taxi to Foxtrot.
JetBlue 626, runway 28, taxi via Tango uniform.
Alright, 28 Tango uniform, JetBlue 626.
I'm gonna go ahead and turn off the runway turn-off lights here and the taxi lights, but make sure we don't blind the marshal here. We're gonna turn on the APU generator.
Charlie, but she said hold short of uniform.
Affirmative, at the merge.
Marshal's guiding us in.
Hold short of that.
Okay, thanks.
There we go, we're almost there. Make sure we hit the mark.
Taxi via Papa Echo. Correction, you said Charlie 1. Papa Echo Tango.
I can't see him in the dark, but I can at least see his glow sticks. And stop. There we go. Pull the parking brake. We have safely arrived at Lindbergh. Let me make sure the APU generator's on. We're gonna go ahead and turn on the cabin lights here. And engine shutdown.
JetBlue 626, monitor tower, she's waiting for you.
Okay, over the tower, just finish up the checklist. We'll talk to you soon. JetBlue 626.
Alright, and the collision lights off. Go ahead and open the cabin door.
Prepare for arrival and cross-check, thank you.
Alright, we're gonna set the transponder back to 2000 and switch it to standby mode.
Ground Southwest.
And we're gonna get some ground services going. Alright guys, that's gonna do it for this episode of Explain 11. Hopefully you enjoyed this first episode. This episode did not go as smoothly as I hoped it would. My A-cars actually just crashed right now, so it did not record that flight. Doesn't seem to like it when I don't fly in real time, so I guess I'll have to look into that. But hopefully you enjoyed that episode of Explain 11. The virtual airline website and Discord is down below. My community Discord and my social media accounts are down there below as well. My name is Nighthawk, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.